We'll see.
I don't either.
11.5, apply the distance and midpoint formula. I'm going to guess there's a chance you've seen this before. If not, they're pretty easy formulas.
Does this happen to be graphing?
Huh?
Does this happen to be graphing? Because this is midpoint.
So yes, but no. We're not, no. Like, we're not graphing the points. But it is, if you graphed 2 points on a line, how would you find the midpoint between them?
So
That's
it's
what
okay.
this is
It's
for.
a
So we're not actually graphing,
Okay, cool.
but you will have 2 XY coordinates to do this
So
with.
it's
I don't actually have
imaginary.
to graph. I'm fine with that.
All right, so the distance formula, and again, these are formulas you're going to need to memorize, just like the quadratic formula from yesterday. So the distance formula is, it's to help us find the distance between 2 points. X1, Y1, and X2, Y2. And those obviously can just be any number. So we'll be given 2 coordinates and you're finding the distance between them. Again, you can plot them on a graph if you want to. You do not have to. But the formula is D equals the square root of, in parentheses, X2 minus X1, all that squared, plus, parentheses, Y2 minus Y1, all that squared. Now, it does not matter which point you call 1 and which point you call 2, because everything is being squared, okay? So when you square it, whether it's a positive or a negative number, when you square it, it's going to be what? Positive. And then they're getting added together. So it doesn't matter, but you have to be consistent. Like, you can't call this X1 and this Y2. Like, it's got to be that way the whole time. So all you're going to be doing is taking those things and plugging them in. Distance always has to be positive, right? You can't have a negative distance. So these are going to produce a positive number for you. If it's a perfect square, again, you should reduce it down. If it's not, then you just combine it as much as possible and you just leave it as the square root of whatever that number would be. Now, the other formula is the midpoint formula. And so M is the midpoint, and this is X1 plus X2 divided by 2, comma, Y1 plus Y2 divided by 2, okay? When you've been told before to find the mean or find the average, you added everything up and you divided it by how many terms there were. Well, if I have 2 points, when I add their 2 x values and their 2 y values together, and respectively I divide them by 2, I had 2 things, so I divided by 2, that's going to find the middle of that line for you, okay? Now, obviously, if it's just like a straight across line, you can find that pretty much without having to do any math, right? You can kind of figure out, okay, this is the middle. But if the line is slanted, you're not necessarily able to do that, and so that's where this comes into play. There's an easier formula that you'll learn, I don't know why, but in college algebra for finding the midpoint of just a number line, which, again, it's kind of crazy to me, but whatever.
Is that in times that stuff or in?
This is just, it's the way that we would label this point is the midpoint. All this is representing is midpoint. I, a lot of times when I write my answer, will write like M equals, but it, technically speaking, not equal to, it just is that point, so. But when I set it up, I'll usually do it that way. But the distance formula will be the square root of a number, or it will be just a number. The midpoint is always a point. It's an XY point, just like what you start with, okay? So, a couple examples here. And most likely, just so that you know on the quiz, that you're not going to have a problem that just says, just find the distance. And then just find the midpoint. It's probably going to be one problem that says to find the distance and the midpoint given the 2 points, okay? Just because that way you're not doing 2 totally separate things. I may change my mind, but just know that that could happen. So finding the distance between 2 points, number 4, we've got 5, -9, and 8, -9. Those are my 2 points. Right here first. We're doing distance first. So I use my distance formula, so I'll write d equals the square root. And again, it doesn't matter which one's 1 and which one's 2. A lot of times I just read them off in order, but we've got x2, which would be 8, minus x1 is 5. Close that parentheses and square it, plus, in the other one, -9. And now it's minus a negative, so that becomes positive. So plus 9 squared. So then I've got the square root of, well, 8 minus 5 is what? 3, so 3 squared. And then over here, -9 plus 9 is? 0. So that part just goes away. So I made this excessively large for no reason. And so then 3 squared is what?
9.
And then square root of 9 is? 3. Now, you could have gone straight from the square root of 3 squared because those things cancel each other and written 3, but I just wanted us to see exactly what was happening. So the distance between these 2 points is 3. Yes. Much easier. 8. The points 2, 4, and the points -5, 0. And so just like I said with the quadratic formula, I will also have you write your distance formula and your midpoint formula, probably as a question on the quiz. And then you'll bring it to me and I'll check them for you so that way you make sure you're using the right formula before you keep going. All right, so we've got d equals the square root of -5 minus 2. Those are both my x values and I square them. Plus, in parentheses, 0 minus 4. Square that. So I've got over here -5 minus 2. I've got -7 squared plus -4 squared. That's -7 squared.
49.
49 and then -4 squared.
16.
So 49 plus 16 under the radical. And so what does that give us? 65? So the square root of 65. Now, is that a perfect square?
I don't think so.
Nope. So we can just call that our answer and leave it like that. All right, I'm going to jump down and do some midpoint ones. If we feel like we need to see some more distance one, I'm happy to go back, but I want to try to get in a couple before they leave here. I should be able to get 2 of them in before they go. So I'm going to jump down here and do midpoint. So find the midpoint of the line segment with the given endpoints. The endpoints are just the 2 points that they're giving to you. So let's see. 26. -6, 6, and 4, -4. So remember, midpoint, a lot of times what I do to start with so that I don't forget is I'll go ahead and write this as an ordered pair, right? So that I don't forget that that's what my answer is going to look like in the end. So I've got x1 plus x2, and again, it doesn't matter which one's 1, which one's 2. They're 2 things being added together. So that means in this case, and I would have -6 plus 4 over 2. It's always divided by 2 for the midpoint. And then on the other one, I would have 6 minus a -4, which would be what? 6? Yep, plus 4 divided by 2. So then my point, I would have -6 plus 4 is -2. So I got -2 over 2. And then over here, 6 plus 4 is 10 over 2. And then I just need to reduce it on down. If you can reduce it as you go, that's totally fine. I do want to see your step where you've initially set it up, but if you can go straight from there to the final answer, that's okay. So then this would be -1 and 5.
Just a question. I thought the other y was a negative, so would it be plus -4 or is it just +4? Oh crap. Okay,
Boy.
Yes! You guys are welcome.
You did it.
Yes, it should be minus.
I know I had it right.
I said the wrong thing.
Jonathan.
Leaving me hanging.
Jonathan.
Oh crap! Oh crap!
Yes, the formula is plus, so since it was a -4, it should have been negative. You're welcome.
2 over 2.
Good job.
So it's 2 over 2, which is 1. Now y'all can have your cookies.
Well, you can. Christian math class is pointless at this point.
I mean, if you found 10 more in the next section.
Yeah.
Hear me out.
I think that was dumb.
All right, one last one, and then I'll let y'all go. 28.
Good job, Jonathan.
0.27 and the 0.53. All right, so again, we've got the two x's added together. So I've got 2 plus 5 divided by 2. And then I've got 7 plus 3 divided by 2 for the y. So that gives me 7 over 2 and 10 over 2. Now, just like we've been doing, you can just leave this improper. So this would stay 7 over 2, but 10 over 2 would be 5. And so that would be your midpoint of that line right there. Now, if you want to rewrite this instead as 3.5, that's also okay. The book writes them as decimals, but I would just leave them as improper fractions. So let me tell you all your problems super fast so that you have them. Do the rest of you feel like you need to see any more? You feel like you're okay with the formula?
I'm
I mean,
good.
as long as there's not like anything that's like
Super
that
different.
different than.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
not.
Alright, then yeah, we're fine.
Okay, problems really quick. 3, 9, 11, and then let's see, 23, 27, and 29.
What lesson was this?
11.5. It's page 747. Just so you remember, if on top you end up with things that cancel out, like a -3 plus 3, that's 0 divided by 2. What's that equal to? 0. So we didn't have one like that, but just make sure you remember that. But are y'all good with problems? Do you need to see more? Are we good?
I think we're good.
Okay. Y'all are good too? Okay.